What's up, guys? Tukey here, back again. This is the Manhattan Project, where we try to bring the New York Rangers back to their prior glory. This is our first postseason. It begins here, first round against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's get back into the real serious business. Getting our asses kicked with the New York Rangers. All right? So there you go. Let's get back to serious business here. But I had to bring that up. So, the last half, the second half in its entirety for the regular season was pretty rough for us as we went from leading the division to barely making the playoffs. We had the debacle over whether or not we were going to trade Chris Kreider. We didn't. We make the playoffs, but now we have to play the Leafs, and this is not going to be a very fun series at all. So let's just take a look at what we are up against here, shall we? Let's take a look at what we're up against in the form of the Leafs. Of course, we are on the road to start this series. Auston Matthews is their captain. Apparently, funny enough, we have them beat in every category. Offense, defense, and goaltending. We have them beat on all three accounts, which is ridiculous to me, considering they finished with, what, 49 wins, was it? Yeah. This should... Oh, God, we're going to get crushed. We are going to get absolutely brutalized. We really are. Anyway, top line, I mean, their team is what you would expect their team to be, although there might be a couple of surprises in that lineup at this point. But top line, JVR, 88 overall. Not sure what he did in the regular season, of course. Centered by Auston Matthews, up to a 91 overall. And Patrick Marleau, actually on the top line, at an 88. So, needless to say, as far as offense goes, yeah, it's oh god, this is gonna suck. Second line, Mitch Marner with 80 or an 87 overall. I'm not sure how many points. He probably had 87 points. Close to it, I'd imagine. Centered by Nazem Kadri, who's up to an 88, which is kind of crazy. And William Nylander, up to an 86. An absolute monster offensively. The third line, Matt Martin. I mean, should I be afraid of him? I'm not sure. Maybe that 96 body checking scares me a little bit. Centered by Tyler Bozak and Connor Brown, the third man on that line, an 83 overall. Fourth line, Eric Fair, the main person I was kind of thinking of when I said a couple of surprises in this lineup. He is listed as a fourth line guy, so I guess it's not that ridiculous, but still. He's centered by Leo Komarov, who I know some people are probably like, he's not a center. Remember, with the updated rosters, everyone's position was just off of what NHL.com listed, which might not be the best way to do it, but it is what it is. And Ben Smith rounds out that fourth line. So they do have some names that are, you know, kind of, I guess it's a little bit surprising now to see someone like Soshnikov in that lineup at this point, but they found success. They found success. On defense, it's, where's Morgan Rielly? Is he injured? Okay, we might have a chance. We might have a chance. Oh my God. You know what? Let's breathe for a second and take a look at what their defense is at the moment. Their top pairing, you have Jake Gardiner with Ron Hainsey. Which, yeah. Second pairing, an old face, Mark Stahl. Again, it might have not been the worst thing to keep him. Of course, that contract is a killer. And Toronto did us a favor. We put him on the trading block, and they offered us a deal for Stahl, and we gladly took it. He's on a pairing with Dennis Weidman. Nice. Don't be punching any referees now, Dennis. And the third pairing, Alexei Marchenko, is with Connor Carrick. The goaltender is Curtis McElhaney. 82 overall. Kasky Swo is the backup. Because as we saw, Frederik Andersen is injured. Morgan Rielly is injured. The hell. Dominic Moore and Zach Hyman also healthy scratches. Again, two other names I was thinking of that are, I'm surprised to see in the lineup. You would think Fair and Ben Smith, at the very least, wouldn't be playing. We're going to have to go take a look at the injury report to see how long Anderson and Rielly are out for. Because even with Auston Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and all that, if we can't beat the Leafs when they're missing their best player, second best player, Morgan Rielly, and their starting goaltender, then we don't deserve to move on. So we have no excuse at this point. Morgan Rielly will be back soon, out until April 21st. Freddie Anderson is out for this entire series, out until May 9th. So we're up against Curtis McElhinney for this entire series. My God, the pressure's on now, isn't it? Because we have no excuse. We have no excuse. And I thought it was a bit odd that we had them beat in every category. The injuries certainly explain why. Guys, it's time. I can't hype it up anymore. I can't delay the inevitable. It is time to begin this series. We play the Leafs here in the first round. We start this series on the road. Game 1, Air Canada Center. It's time to find out just how good or bad we truly are. First period of Game 1. And that's a good start. Jaromir Jagr scores, what is that, a minute and 44? If my just common sense isn't failing me. We were outshot 12-9. The difference maker is Jagr scoring from center ice. I'll take it. I'll take any goals we can get at this stage. Jagr gets the opening goal. Now, we do have a long way to go, but the legend scoring from center ice to start this series, that's pretty damn good. Second period, can we maintain the lead? No, we cannot. Connor Brown ties this game up, 19 shots apiece. We are dead even through the first 40 minutes. Let's go. Third period starts right now, and 54 seconds in, Michael Grabner gets the goal, restores the lead. Not a bad way to start at all. Power play for the Leafs is killed off. 8 minutes to go. Can we find that insurance, or can we just flat out hold on? Another late power play for Toronto. It's killed off. Jimmy Vesey with the empty netter. And the New York Rangers take Game 1 on the road. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished for the Rangers. Not too bad. We could lose Game 2. At this point, I don't care. We at least took a game on the road. Dead even in shots. 3-1 on the scoreboard, though. That is a marvelous start. And Hank was your first star. Surprisingly, McElhinney was the second star of the game with 28 saves. And he didn't do too poorly. I mean, really, he only gave up 2 goals. Regardless, I don't care. We took Game 1, which I didn't think we'd win a game at this point. Coming into the series, I wasn't sure if we were going to win a game. By the way, the Hartford Wolfpack, 51 wins. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on them as they enter the Calder Cup playoffs. But we're going to jump right into it. Why make any changes? Why make any changes? We will keep the lineup the same, and we'll hope we can find that same level of success. So here we go. First period of Game 2. And Ryan McDonagh gets the opening goal. Just over 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Hey, math. We get the opening goal. Not from center ice this time, but I'll take it regardless. The 1-0 lead at the end of the opening 20. Tried to fight off that burp. Couldn't do it. Second period, can we hold on to that lead? And we can. We can do more than that. Matt Zuccarello doubles it up. 2-0 on the scoreboard. 2-0. Not a very safe lead, though. This could change oh so quickly. But McDonagh and Zuccarello with the goals. Can we hold on? Can Hank shut the door? Let's find out. Here we go. Imagine if we take both games on the road to start this series. Power play opportunity here. is killed off. Toronto gets one of their own. We kill that off, and then Matt Zuccarello, his second of the game. Power play opportunity that we can't do anything with, but at this stage, it does not matter. A minute and a half to go, and there it is. That's all she wrote. 2 goals for Matt Zuccarello. And the New York Rangers go to Toronto. They go to Toronto and take the first 2 games of this series. A 32-save shutout for the King. The King himself. Henrik Lundqvist gets it done. Something I haven't been able to say about a Swedish goalie in a very long time in any of my series. But Hank gets the job done. And we have ourselves that 2-0 series lead. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, right? I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Because this could change very quickly. We have seen this change very quickly on numerous occasions. But it's looking good, right? We outscored them 6-1 on the road. It's looking good. And now we head home to Madison Square Garden. Games 3 and 4. Can we take advantage of home ice? Again, no reason to change up the lines. So we're going to find out right now. Game 3. To say this is an important game would be an understatement. First period. I forgot to sort it. Doesn't matter. We get the goal. Another really early goal. JT Miller getting the job done there. We outshot them. We outscored them, quite obviously. We have the 1-0 lead at the end of the first period. Not too shabby. Second period. Can we at least hold on to the lead? We can. Henrik Lundqvist, not to jinx you, but he is shutting them down. 21 saves thus far. Third period, we are 20 minutes away. I'm jinxing the hell out of myself. We are 20 minutes away from a 3-0 series lead. Come on now, Hank, shut the door. We need that insurance. Chris Kreider, now would be the time for you to show up, by the way. I held on to you at the deadline because I didn't want to give up too much. Now would be a great time for you to show up. We have power play opportunities. We can't score despite changing those lines, so that's great. I'm trying not to point out the clock. I will now, though. The clock strikes 0, perhaps midnight, on the Maple Leafs. They're shut out again. 33 saves for Henrik Lundqvist. And we have a 3-0 series lead. Oh my God. Come on. Oh, fuck. I am so conflicted right now. Okay, let's just dissect what happened here. We got the shutout. We've shut them out over 2 consecutive games now. Henrik Lundqvist wasn't in goal. Ondrej Pavelec was. Henrik Lundqvist may just be injured. Ondrej Pavelec had a below 900 save percentage throughout the regular season. But he gets the win in the first start of the game with a 29 save shutout. JT Miller, of course, your third star for the GWG. So Henrik Lundqvist might be injured. It could be a one-game injury. Ondrej Pavelec. Where was that all season? I'm at a loss for words at this point. We have the 3-0 series lead. The question is Henrik Lundqvist out for an extended period of time? We will find out right now, and oh my God, there it is. He's out for about a month. A little bit under a month. with back spasms. A 3-0 series lead. We just lost Henrik Lundqvist. Andre Pavelec is in, who has been abysmal for us. But he did just get a shutout. I don't know what to say at this point. What do you say to that? Man, Georgiev will get the call up. I'm still probably completely butchering his name. Because he did all right at the AHL level this season. Andre Pavelec is our starting goaltender for the rest of this series. And if we make it to the second round, he will be our starter for pretty much the entire series. To say I'm very much afraid of us losing and blowing a 3-0 series lead would be an understatement. By the way, the Hartford Wolfpack finished with 52 wins. So at the very least, once Pavelec blows this, we could follow the Wolfpack, right? That'll be a thing, probably. Oh my god. How could this happen to me? Wow. Alright. Well, we're obviously not going to make any lineup changes because we're still winning. I hope that continues to be the case, as Game 1 against the Hershey Bears will be simmed here in the Calder Cup playoffs. But it is time for Game 4 on home ice with Andre Pavelec between the pipes. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, we gotta do this. First period. And that's a good start. Matt Zuccarello continues to just absolutely own Curtis McElhaney. That's the one saving grace here, is it's McElhaney against Pavelec. So both teams are pretty well fucked right now. We have the 1-0 lead at the end of the opening 20. Second period. Kevin Hayes makes it 2. I punched my desk, but damn it, it hurts so good. Not really. That actually really fucking hurts. We are 20 minutes away. We are 20 minutes away from sweeping Toronto. That's right. I said it. I jinxed it. Probably. Come on. Pavelec, you were hot garbage for the entire season. Now is the time for your redemption story. Please, we're halfway there. Just don't blow it. Please. Come on, we're 2 minutes away, please. Zibanejad, the empty netter. Andre Pavelec with back-to-back shutouts. And the New York Rangers have swept the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. 34 save shutout for Pavs. Oh my god. I don't know what to say. I really don't. We gave up 1 goal in 4 games. 3 straight shutouts, 2 of which belong to Andre Pavelec. What? What? How? How did we just sweep Toronto? Again, I know they're without Morgan Riley. I know they're without Frederick Anderson. 3 consecutive shutouts. We swept them. I am beyond, mind fucked. That's the only... We literally have the only sweep of the first round. EA Voodoo doesn't just, Wow. Again, just to remind you guys, Toronto finished in second in the NHL and were the best team in the Eastern Conference. Had 9 more points than the New York Islanders. Absolutely incredible. We were the 8th seed, and we swept the 1st seed. How did this happen? How did this happen? Absolutely unreal. And again, allow me to remind you just how bad Ondrej Pavelec was. 63 saves. Oh my God. And apparently, I mean, Lundqvist obviously started, so I guess it's technically not 2 shutouts for Pavelec. It might as well be. He very clearly played the majority of the game to be the first star. So Hank was hurt very, very early on in Game 1. And actually, I was mistaken. Pavelec got it back to a 901. I was mistaken. I didn't give him enough credit. That's completely my fault. It wasn't a sub-900 save percentage. It was a 901. How dare I confuse that with a 318 goals against average? I don't understand you. God. Oh my God, but we did it. We just, and by the way, I mean, Hank was playing out of his goddamn skull before he was injured. Like, look at that. Look at that. We have swept the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we are moving on, which, by the way, is some of these stats. 5 points for Jágr in 4 games, 3 for Zibanejad, 3 goals for Zuccarello. Just, that top line's been great all season, which has been a bit of an issue, you know, when talking about, you know, doing different combinations to try and get Chris Kreider going, because that top line's just been incredible. The second line, Rick Nash, I mean, 19 shots without a goal, that's rough, but we still swept Toronto without it. The second line, didn't do a whole hell of a lot, did they? They didn't do a whole hell of a lot. Third line was actually decent and a bit more productive. And the fourth line didn't do a whole hell of a lot. I imagine those assists come from VC's empty netter, because that's all Jimmy VC did. Defensively, McDonough was a +4, Shattenkirk a +2. Brady Shea at least with 2 assists, but that was about it. The bottom line is it came down to goaltending. And whether it was Henrik Lundqvist or, of all goddamn people, Ondrej Pavelec, we have swept the Toronto Maple Leafs and are moving on. In the meantime, before we figure out who we're playing in round 2, we get to follow along with the Hartford Wolfpack, who again won 52 games in the regular season, and in Game 1 they beat the Hershey Bears by the score of 6-2. And I'm intrigued to see they win Game 2 by the score of 3-2. I'm intrigued to see what they can do. Of course, we took away their starter. Halverson's in, unless they auto-rotate, put Nell back in, which probably a good chance of that actually happening. But the Wolfpack are going for the sweep here against the Bears, and they will get it. Both teams sweep their way to the second round. Nobody saw that. Like, even sarcastically, nobody said both teams are going to sweep their way to the second round. I mean, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And now it's time for the moment of truth. We know that we are in the Atlantic bracket. Obviously, as the 8th seed, we transfer over. We know we're not going to have home ice advantage. Well, let's find out here what's happening. Who are we up against in the second round? That is the question. 3, 2, 1. And we'll be playing the Ottawa Senators in round 2. Erik Karlsson and the Ottawa Senators. By the way, Washington and Pittsburgh for the other matchup. You have Minnesota, Dallas, also Anaheim and Edmonton So some very interesting and somewhat true-to-life matchups going on here in this sim. Blackhawks are out, by the way. Incredible. Guys, that'll do it. That'll do it for this episode of the Manhattan Project. How do you explain what happened? How do you explain what happened as far as this episode goes? Ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. We take on Ottawa, who beat the Buffalo Sabres in 6 games. In 6 games. So guys, for those of you watching live on Twitch, of course, stick around. I'm going nowhere. But for those of you watching on YouTube after the fact, I thank you again very much for the support, especially after, what I talked about at the start of this episode. Round 2. Round 2, we play the Sens. I have no expectations whatsoever, but I guess we'll have to wait to see what happens. We'll take a look at their lineup in the next episode. I don't recall them making any big trades, so we are going to have to deal with Erik Karlsson, which should just be a blast. But, guys, that'll do it for this one. Again, if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, you know what to do to make sure that you continue to, find my content, to stay informed and all that shit. I don't have an outro. I've never had an outro. But I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.